Just a little bit more multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, 1,000. But how many of you are tired of using the place value chart? I am. So I'm going to show you a trick so you can move away from using the place value chart, okay? Now keep in mind the place value chart is here in the room and you can use them whenever you need to. You just need to get a dry erase marker and an eraser with it. So you can use it for Zern or whatever, okay? All right, so let's take a look at this. If I have 10 discs in the hundreds place and I bundle them, what would they become? 1,000, right? So just write 1,000 there. And if I have 10 discs in the tens place and I bundle those, what does that become? 100. See what we're doing here? And if I have 10 ones, like 10 pennies, I could trade them in for 1 dime, right?
Yes.
So I'll bundle those ones and trade them in for 1 10. Okay, now this is going to get a little interesting because you're used to this, but it's new with the decimal place value. So if I have 10 tenths and I bundle those, they become 1 what? 1 1. And it might also be named as 1 whole. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
1 whole. Okay. All right. So now we're skipping. If I have 10 thousandths and I bundle those, what does it become? 100. And let's abbreviate that, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. And then if I have 10 hundredths and I bundle those, what will it become? 1 tenth. Okay, 10. We don't need an S on it because it's not plural. All right? Okay, so that's just a little review of fourth at the top and then adding in some fifth at the bottom. So let's take a look at this. We are not going to do all of these, but I'm going to start by, now this is a review of lesson 1, basically, okay? We're going to multiply all these by 10. So turn the page and get ready to write. This is unit form, and I want to change it to standard form. So what did I forget to put on here when I made this thing? Yes. So get those on there. I'll put that many on for now. Okay, to start out, we'll put a 2 in the hundredths place. Okay, a 2 in the hundredths place. And what do I need to fill in with here?
Zeros.
Okay, so now I know how to write 2 hundredths in standard form. It's 0.02. And we're multiplying by 10. Okay, so what happens when I multiply by 10?
Move to the left.
Okay, and which digit am I going to move?
2.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and draw an arrow on that 0, aren't I? But I don't know that I need to write it. Do I need 0.2 for my answer?
No.
Which 0 can I get rid of?
The middle one.
The first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, times 10 on here. So my answer, what's my answer, boys and girls? 0.2. How do I say that? 2 what? 2 what? Tenths. Okay. So that's what we're doing here. I'm going to change the color so you can keep track of what one we're on. We're doing 3 tenths, 2 hundredths. So put a 3 in the tenths place, a 2 in the hundredths place. What do I need in front of it? A 0. Okay, so I'm going to write 0.32. Tell your table group how to say that number. 32
hundredths.
Okay. Times 10. So same thing again. One place value to the left. Do I need that 0 in front of it?
No.
No. If you're 10 years old, we don't write 0, 10, do we?
No.
Let's take a look at it. I'm ready for red again, aren't I? 3/10, 2 hundredths, 4 thousandths. Do I need a 0 in front of this? Huh? Yes, I do. But I'm not going to move the 0. I bet that's what you thought. So let's rewrite it. 0.324. Tell your table group how to say that.
324 thousandths.
Times 10. Okay, so I bet this is what you meant. Do I need to write that 0?
No.
Okay, so we have, times 10, Mrs. Lewis, 3.24?
Yep.
Okay, that's a little review. Let's go down. Let's skip this one and do the next one, 1/10 and 3 thousandths. Now, sometimes I'm going to skip, so just stick with me, okay? So 1/10 and 3 thousandths. What do you think I put in the hundredths place?
0.
And do I need a 0 in the ones?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to write 0.103 times 10, and that is 100, what is it, boys and girls? 103 thousandths. Very good. Okay, thanks for trying to keep up with Cooper. If you could talk louder than him, that would be even better. I'm just kidding, Cooper. Okay, so let's take this times 10. But I already know I'm not writing the 0, the first 0, am I? Do I write the 0 in the middle?
Yes.
So my answer is 1.03. How do I say that, table 4? 1 and, very good, 1 and 3 hundredths, okay? Fist of 5 on multiplying by 10. Doing
Yes.
okay? Okay. We're getting it, aren't we? We're just tired of writing on a place value chart. Okay, let's do the division. And I'm going to skip a couple on here. Let's start with this one right here. 2 1s, 3 10ths. Looks like I need decimals, don't I? Okay, 2 1s, 3 10ths. So I'm going to write somewhere close to this. Maybe here, 2 1s, 3 10ths. Just so we can see it. And I'm dividing by 10 now. So I'm going to put 2.3 divided by 10. Okay, which way do I move my digits?
Right.
To the right. How many place values?
1.
1. Why?
It's only 1 0.
Only 1 0 on 10. Okay? So we have for an answer 0.23. Tell your table group how to say that number.
2300.
Okay, you're going to have to wait and say it a little later because they haven't even had a chance to think. And some of them are still writing. Okay. All right, or whisper it. You could whisper it, say it right away. But don't you want Jaden and Hudson to have a chance to think? Okay. Yeah, because you're a good friend. So let's do the next one. 2 1s, 3 10ths, 5 hundredths. So over here I'm going to write 2.35 divided by 10. Okay? Divided by 10 goes which way?
Right.
To the right. Do I need a 0 in front of that? Yes. Okay. Whisper to your table group how to say this number. 200.
235.
Okay, what place value is the 5 in?
Thousands.
Thousands. So that's what you say. How you doing? Let's go down to the bottom one. It's kind of challenging. I'm gonna raise it up a little bit. Okay, so 110 and 5 thousandths.
How do you divide this?
Well, we're gonna have to draw a box, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so get that on there. So this is 10.005, 10 and 5 thousandths, right? And I'm going to divide by 10. Now, just because we haven't ever used that place value before doesn't mean we can't figure it out, because don't we have the answers right in front of us here?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if we can figure it out. I'm going to divide by 10, so the same strategies apply. Divide by 10.
Oh, what I won't do it. I'll have something else to get.
Okay, so let's write our answer. 1.0005. And it's okay if I don't understand that number right now, but let's see if we can figure out how to say it. So talk to your table group about it quietly so the whole room doesn't hear you. Okay, I think I'm going to pull a stick. One and. Isamar. Well, okay, listen. What did your table discuss?
1 and 5 million.
Well, you're 1 and 5 something. Okay? So let's look and see what place value the 5 is in.
10,000.
So it's going to be 1 and 5 10,000. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next page. Okay, move on. Okay, so I'm going to read this and then we're going to put boxes around the important things that we need to. It would be like we were highlighting, but we're just putting a box around it instead. A school district ordered 247 boxes of pencils. Each box contains 100 pencils. If the pencils are to be shared evenly among 10 classrooms, how many pencils will each class receive? Draw a place value chart to show your thinking. Okay? So start by boxing these numbers, don't you think? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
And then we've got some important words in here. They tell us what we're going to do. So who sees a word that's going to tell us we're going to multiply?
Divide? Or
Okay, he says we're going to divide. What words tell me we're going to divide?
each class receive?
You're in the right sentence.
Oh,
Evenly.
Shared evenly. Very good. Okay, stop having side conversations. Okay? Now, that tells me I'm going to divide. And there's a word that tells me I'm going to multiply. Miguel, do you remember it? No?
each box.
Each. So put a box around each. That tells me I'm going to multiply. Sometimes you can divide with each, but I think this means multiply. 247 boxes of pencils, and each box contains 100 pencils.
That's a lot.
So let's write the problem right here. 247 times what?
Times 10?
Really?
100.
Says each box contains 100 pencils, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, I'm just going to solve this problem. Nice thing about it is I don't even have to put it on the place value chart. I mean, I'm going to because it tells me to, but what can I do to solve this one? Jacob?
Add 2 zeros.
Add 2 zeros. Now this doesn't work unless it's a whole number. Is 247 a whole number?
Yes.
So write it, add the 2 zeros, then go 1, 2, 3, comma. Okay? So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my answer is 24,700. Okay? Now, it says these pencils will be shared evenly among 10 classrooms. What pencils?
240.
No?
24,700
Very good.
divided.
And if I'm sharing them,
divided by.
divided by 10. And do I need to place this one on the place value chart, or can I solve it without doing that?
You can solve it without.
How?
Take away a 0.
Take away a 0. So then I have 2470, which ends up being 1, 2, 3, comma, 2,470. Right?
Yeah.
Did you learn these tricks in 4th grade?
A little.
Yes, you
not
did.
A little.
Okay.
Bit, yeah.
You knew that if it's a whole number, you could add zeros to the end if you're multiplying by a power of 10. And you also learned that you can take a 0 off the end, okay, when you divide, because we're just making it smaller or making it larger. Now we need to place these on the place value chart. How many place value charts do you have to label?
All 1.
1. Okay, so I'm going to start with 247 times 100. How many place values do I move it?
2.
2. Why?
Because there's 2 zeros.
Okay, so times 100. We can go 1, 2, move it down. And then I've got 2 blank spaces on my place value chart, don't I?
Fill them
Fill them in with zeros. Okay. Is that 24,700 like you got up here?
Yes.
It is. So the zero trick worked, didn't it?
Yes.
Let's keep going. Now I'm going to place 24,700 on the place value chart. And what will I do to it this time?
Divide.
Divide by
10.
10. So how many place values?
1.
Which way?
Left.
Left.
Right.
Right. Okay. So divide by 10, correct?
Yeah.
So we got 2,470. Which digit did I not have to write when I wrote my answer?
The 0. The last 0.
The last 0. I don't need to write it, do I? It doesn't change the value of it. You don't walk around saying I'm 10.0 years old, do you?
No.
So we don't need it, okay? All right, so that's a review of lesson 1, which took us 4 days. Have you noticed I'm going faster today?
Yeah.
You're keeping up with me. You're doing a good job. Okay, so I'm gonna, starting now, remember I told you I'm tired of drawing on that place value chart, so we're only doing it when we have to, okay? So when we can use the 0 trick, we will. And I'm going to teach you a decimal trick, okay? Before I teach you a decimal trick, let's look at something. You can just watch. You don't have to write this, okay? But let's do 247 times 10, 247 times 100, and 247 times 1,000, okay? And I'm just going to write the answers. So, and you need to pick your heads up and pay attention. Am I doing okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, all I want you to pay attention to is the decimal. Do you see any decimals? No. But are they there?
Yes.
Where are they?
At the last.
At the end of the
Yes.
number,
Yes.
okay? So that's where the decimal is. What happens to the decimal? In each answer, what happens?
It gets bigger?
Well, the number gets larger, you're right. Which way is the decimal moving, kids?
Right.
To the right. But I thought when we multiply, I thought we've been shifting our digits to the left. We have. So this decimal trick, hold still. This decimal trick is opposite of what we've been doing. But it's going to simplify our lives so much, okay? So the decimal started out here, right? When I took it times 10, it moved to there. When I took it times 100, it moved to there. When I took it times 1,000, it moved to there, didn't it? Okay? So the decimal is moving, not really, the digits are moving, but the decimal appears to be moving to the right when I multiply, okay? Look at the cheat sheet over there, behind Trey's head. That's, see where it says decimal and then left, right? Don't look at the stuff at the top yet, you don't need it yet. That's how we're going to remember the decimal trick, okay? Now, I want to try something else here. I want to try changing this number to 24.75. 24.75. 24.75. And I'm going to take it times what? 100 and 1,000. Okay. So the answer to this one right here is going to be 247.5. The answer to this one is going to be 2,475. The answer to this one is going to be 24,750. Now, I did that really fast because I know how to use a decimal trick. So let's look at the decimal now. Decimal's here between the 7 and 5. The decimal's after the 5, and the decimal is after the 0. Is the decimal still appear to be moving to the right?
Yes.
It does, okay? So we're going to practice the decimal trick on each of these problems, and I'm going to talk you through it. Then if we have time at the end of class, we'll do some practice where you're going to figure them out yourselves, okay? All right, so the first problem I want to do is 367 times 10. It's on your paper. Do you need to turn the page? Or are you on the right page?
We're on the right
Okay, so the first thing we're doing is we're going to make our own decimal trick right here. So make a T-chart. Everybody make a T-chart. We're going to write decimal on top. It's the decimal trick. It's not actually what happens to the digits. We know the digits move to the left and right. But now we're going to start just moving the decimal to simplify our lives. Okay, so we just practiced a bunch, didn't we? And it looked like the decimal was moving to the right when you multiply. So we're going to put that on the right side of the T-chart. And then I'm guessing, since multiplication and division are opposite, that when I divide, the decimal is going to appear to be moving to the left. Okay, now trust me, you're going to love this. So we're going to use every trick we can. Sometimes we might check it on a place value chart just to make sure the trick is right. But I want you to tell your table group without saying it so loud the whole class can hear. What trick am I going to use on 367 times 10? Tell your table group. Table 2. What trick? Decimal or 0?
0.
You're right. So I'm going to add a 0 to the end. Anything times 10, add a 0 to the end. That 6 is bad. Okay. The next one, 367 divided by 10. Can I use the 0 trick on that?
No.
No, there's no 0 to cross off, is there?
Nope.
So if there's not a 0 to cross off, I can't use it. All right? So now I'm going to try my decimal trick. You want to try it with me?
Sure.
Okay, so let's rewrite 367. Just write it up here. Rewrite it. And where is the decimal in 367?
At the end.
After the 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the decimal trick says, when you divide, move the decimal to the left. How many place values for 10? 1. That didn't change, did it? So watch me move it.
Oh, that is so easy.
My answer looks to me like it's 36.7.
Oh, that's so much easier.
I know. So you go ahead and hop your decimal one place value to the left. Write your new answer. We're going to check it on the place value chart. Okay, so 367. Divided by 10. Which way do the digits move?
Right.
To the right. Divided by 10. We've got a 7, a 6, and a 3.
Yep.
Is that what we got when we did the decimal hop trick?
Yep.
Sure is. So it works, doesn't it? It works. And how many of you like it better than sliding the digits over?
Me.
A lot less writing, isn't it? Okay. Remember before when I told you, as soon as you understand what really happens to the numbers, then we get to write less. Remember in 4th grade when you were bundling all the time, and now we're just putting digits on the place value chart? Well, lesson 2, we're done sliding them across the place value chart. We're just going to figure out the answers. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. So I still have the decimal trick on this page, don't you? By the way, did you know that it's not cheating for you to write this on your paper? No. If you want it to help you, it's not cheating. Okay, so what trick, tell your table group, what trick we're going to use to solve 4,367 times 10. Tell your table group quietly. Table 6. What trick? 0 or decimal? 0. So I'm going to do 4,367 with a 0 on the end. Don't put the comma in yet. Then 1, 2, 3, comma. Okay. So let's take a look at the next one. Can I use the 0 trick? No, there's no 0 to cross off. Okay. So I'm going to use the decimal trick. You agree?
Yes.
So write 4,367 with no comma. Leave your commas out when you're doing the decimal trick, okay? They might confuse you. Where's the, Alexis, where's the decimal in this number, even though we don't write it? At the end. Okay? And the decimal trick says what, JJ? What does it say? When I divide,
Move it to the left.
move it to the left. How many place values for 10?
1.
1. So it looks like this. So I have 436.7. How are we doing?
Good.
Okay. What if we kick it up a notch and take it times 100?
Okay.
Let's try it, okay? Let's try it. So turn it to the next page. We're going to need a decimal T-chart on this page. So rewrite it, please. This way you'll learn to spell decimal anyway, right? If you forget what to write, I've got an anchor chart in the room that helps you. Okay, now this is kind of a trick question. I want you to tell your table group which trick you're going to use on 215.6 times 100.
Yeah.
Table 1. What trick? 0 or decimal?
Zero. What? Really? Decimal trick?
So there's a rule with the 0 trick. Does anyone know what it is? It has to be a whole number. It has to be a whole number. Is this a whole number?
Oh, no.
No, we've got part of a number here. So that's called a mixed number.
Okay.
All right? if the number has a decimal, you cannot use the zero trick. Because if I put, don't write this, but look at this. If I put 215.6 with 2 zeros on the end, does that change the value?
No.
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 That would be like saying I'm 10.0 years old, right?
Yeah.
So it's not changing the value, then we can't do it. So what trick will we have to use, boys and girls? The decimal trick. Okay, so I'm going to write it up here where I have room. Rewrite 215.6. And it's important when you're first starting to rewrite things, okay? Because these numbers are so little, I want you to get in your head. So, which way does a decimal trick tell me to move?
Right.
Multiply, okay? And how many place values for 100?
2.
2. Watch me.
Okay.
So what do you think I fill in with here?
0.
Okay, so go ahead and do that.
Got it.
Then I'm going to do 21560 and then figure out where to place my comma. So 1, 2, 3, comma.
Yep, $21,560.
Yeah, just pencils.
Yeah,
Okay.
pencils.
All right, so the next one. Can we use a zero trick? No, it's not a whole number. Okay, so we're going to rewrite 215.6. And if I divide by 100, what does my decimal trick tell me to do? Move to the left.
Or left, yeah.
And how many place values for 100? 2.
2.
Okay, I'm going to change the color of my pen. Watch me before you do it. 1, 2.
Gotcha.
So my answer is 2.156.
I like this new trick.
You like the trick?
Yeah, it's fun.
Tell your table group how to say that number 2.156. 2 and
156,000.
right, but don't say it so loud that the other tables hear you. Right? Okay, so let's go down to the next one. Do we still have our decimal trick on the page? Okay, so you don't have to rewrite it. Now this one's kind of tricky. Well, I mean, not really. It's pretty similar to the last one, but can I use a zero trick on any of these? No, why not?
Because there's no zero.
No? It's not a whole number.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a whole number. It's a mixed number. 3 and 7/10 is 3 and a little more than half. Okay, and you'll understand that better soon. So I'm going to use a decimal hop trick. Let's rewrite 3.7. Now I want you to watch me and then you do it yourself, okay?
Okay.
So we've got 1, 2 to the right. You agree?
Yeah.
100 means 2 to the right. Fill in with,
0.
so my answer is 370. Okay, you try it. Okay, now let's rewrite 3.7 again. And this time when we divide, which way are we moving?
To the left.
To the left. How many places?
Twice.
Why?
Because there's 2 zeros.
2 zeros on 100. So I'm going to move to the left twice. What do I fill in with here?
0.
Now if I'm going to write this number 0, 3, 7, what do I need in front of it?
Another 0.
So tell your table group how to say that number. You're close. 37 what? 30. What place value is the 7 in? Thousands. Okay, let's keep going. Guys are doing great. So this is times 1,000 and divided by 1,000. That's the only difference. Okay?
Should I be super large?
So this time we're starting with the decimal number, 482 thousandths. Go ahead and write that down. The decimal trick tells me to move it to the right when I multiply.
Yeah.
How many place values? Table 3, right back here. For 1,000. 3. So watch me move it to the right. 1, 2, 3. So the decimal's going to end up after the 2. Go ahead and hop it yourselves. So 482 decimal. Do I need to write the decimal? No. What number is that?
482.
482?
482.
Very good. So now we've got, go ahead and write 482. Where's the decimal in that number?
Right after the 2.
Right after the 2. And we're dividing by 1,000. Decimal trick says when I divide, move the decimal to the left. So 1, 2, 3. How many of you knew we were going to be right back where we started? Had that figured out?
Yeah.
How do you say that number? Tell your table group how to say that number. Okay. So table 5, how do you say it? How do you say it, table 5?
482,000.
Very good. Okay. So do you have a little bit of extra room at the bottom of your paper? Let's do a little bit of practice there. Okay. So decimal trick, I'm going to put over here so we have it. You don't have to because didn't you write it on your paper already?
Yes, ma'am.
So we've got divided by, multiplied by, right, left. Okay. So we're just gonna practice this with some simple, easy numbers, okay? So I want you to put 3.7 times 10, and don't write too big. 3.7 times 100, 3.7, no, just times 10, and divided by 10. I forgot.
Okay.
Let's do it that way. Just those two problems. So I want to keep it simple. It's the KISS philosophy. Keep it simple.
There we go.
With just one S. Okay. So if I take 3.7 times 10, my decimal trick says move the decimal to the right when I multiply. Think about how many place values for 10 and go ahead and hop the decimal on your paper. You're going to check yours with mine. Did you already do it? Okay, so if I move it one place value to the right, my answer is 37 decimal. Which, do I need the decimal? No. Okay. Now, when I divide, decimal trick says move the decimal to the left. How many place values for 10?
1.
Go ahead and do it. So I've got decimal 37. What do I need in front of that?
0.
How do you say that number? 37 hundredths. Very good. Let's do another. Give me a random number with 2 digits, a decimal, and 2 digits. Trey? 14 point. Let's change it. Let's have a different one.
35.
35. Okay. We're going to take that times 10, and then we're going to take that divided by 10. Okay, now you're going to practice it, and then you're going to check it with mine. So move it to the right when you multiply, move it to the left when you divide. you get that one right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that's bad 3. Did you get that one right?
Yes.
Okay, fist to 5. How are you doing? It's okay if it's not a 5. This is the first day I introduced it. Tomorrow, you can put your hands down. Tomorrow we're going to practice this on a problem set. Okay? Let's go ahead and kick it up a notch. You have any more room to write?
No.
You can find some places. Right underneath the very last place value chart, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and come up with another random number. How about Miranda? Can you give me a random number? And this time I want it to be 3 digits, a decimal, and 2 digits. So any random number. 1, 2, 3, decimal, 4, 5? I'm kidding. Okay. Decimal, and then what? Anything is fine. Okay, good. So write that times 10 and divided by 10. Okay, you solve both problems and then get ready to check it with mine. Okay, let's see what happens here. So if I'm going to multiply, I'm going to move it 1 place value to the right. So I'll write 3721.2. Is that right? Okay. And if I divide, I'll move it 1 place value to the left. So I'll have 37.212. Okay, tell your table group how to say the first number.
3,721.
Okay, table 2, what'd you say? I did not hear all of that. Say it again. 3,721 and 2 tenths. Awesome. Okay, tell your table group how to say the next number. Table 4. What'd you come up with? Whose turn is it to say it? She said it yesterday. Table 6. Say this number.
37 and 212,000.
Good. Everybody say it. 37 and 212 thousandths.